Good morning, everyone, and welcome to At Home with Hayley. For those of you, I can see that quite a few of you are coming through now. There has been a few messages this morning regarding the link. It is the old link, you're all coming through now, so that's great. Brilliant. Morning, guys. Happy Friday, everyone. It is Friday again. I don't know why I love Friday. Every day is a day that I make it. But Friday's family night for me. So I always love Fridays because it's movies and pizza, which is a good thing. It's my only cheat day. So guys, good morning. Welcome again to At Home with Hayley. I'm going to be talking to you about a brief update, and then we have a very special guest with us today. If one of you listening could just pop into the chat box that you can hear me okay before I get started. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes, brilliant, awesome. Okay, so guys, we've got people coming through slowly. Like I said, there was a new email that went out last night because we actually set up a series for 12 weeks, but of course we've continued on, and we are going to continue on as well. So the link or an email should have been sent out last night. So there's actually a few people that are regulars that are not on the call yet. So I'll try and stall a little bit, but guys, so I'm going to jump into the update for this week. Hopefully all of you have had a good week. There's been some good updates and then some not so good news this week, but overall as a business it's been a good win, and the industry as well, very much the path that we were anticipating it to be. Guys, I'm going to jump straight into this update now. I can see that more people are coming through, which is excellent. From various different platforms and newsletters, and thanks to Inside Conveyancing and many more news updates that I get, I'm going to go through some general updates, some bits of information, and then I'll talk to you about the Power team as well, and then we'll get on to our first guest. So first of all then, Works, I've put this at the top of the list. It's not necessarily a market update, but it will actually speed up the process. So I thought it might be nice to start on a good note. Works have begun on the property logbook to speed up the conveyancing process. Now, for those of you that have purchased here in the UK, you will know that the conveyancing process is quite time consuming, and a lot of the time can hold up the whole buying process there. So any way to try and speed up this process would be great for us as investors, and great for our business as well. So what they're actually doing is they are looking to do a digital file holding, and it will hold all key data for any property transaction to complete, which will be excellent. So it's a logbook that will be transferable from one homeowner to the next, and it will contain various bits of information about the property, and that digital file will grow each transaction, and as the property goes from one person to the next. So it will have a whole history. It will all be in digital form and stored in one place, but will make it easy to access and will actually cut down the conveyancing process massively. Now, average here in the UK is 6 to 8 weeks, so that's your average purchase time here in the UK. It'll be interesting to see if the logbook becomes compulsory and what information it will actually contain. And only then will we really know how quickly it will speed up this conveyancing process. But the good news is they're actually looking at ways to speed up everything and make things more streamlined and straightforward, which will improve the whole process and allow us to purchase property. Sorry, lost you all there for a minute. Allow us to purchase the properties much quicker and sell much quicker as well. Can everybody still hear me? We seem to be having a few technical issues this morning. Yeah, can somebody just pop in the chat box if you can still hear me? Because I just lost you for a minute. Okay, moving on then. So that's excellent news. If that comes along and it is made compulsory, and we can see exactly what information will be held in that logbook in digital form there, and how much time it will cut down, that will be great news for all of us. Another one then, the mortgage lender has provided a boost for portfolio landlords by abolishing multiple application fees and reducing their completion fee as well. And their completion fees are normally 1.5%, and they've reduced it to 1.25. So that's excellent news. And what this means is that landlords can submit multiple applications within a 6-month time frame of the first application that went forward, and you do not have to pay any additional fees there, which is excellent. Rates for portfolios, you're looking at around 3.39 up, and you're looking at around a 2-year fix there at 70% loan to value. And it's more cost effective for investors to submit multiple applications there and take advantage of that. And it provides more choice to the broker and to the client as well. So funding options are crucial to us as investors and landlords, helping us to restructure and manage our portfolio. So another good win this week. Another one then, so Rightmove have announced, and this is all, lots and lots of businesses out there within this industry and many others are looking at ways to improve smaller businesses' cash flow so that everybody can stay afloat. So the government's doing what they can, those bounce back loans, you've got your furlough scheme that's in place. So Rightmove have come up with a deferred payment method for smaller agencies. What we're actually seeing is there's quite a lot of criteria around this, and the big announcement actually sounds much better than what it really is. But as you know, Rightmove is really quite expensive for estate and lettings agencies to actually advertise through and use as part of their business. But what Rightmove are actually doing to improve the cash flow of some of these smaller chains and individual smaller estate agencies and lettings agencies, they are actually deferring their payments now for 6 months and reducing the payments down to, I think it's just under £300 per calendar month, which is excellent. There are, like I said, a lot of strict criteria around there. You have to have less than 25 branches. You have to have been a continuous customer of Rightmove, so you haven't flipped it on the market or Zoopla and then gone back to Rightmove. So there is very much a loyalty thing there with Rightmove before they offer you this. You have to have been paying on time, and there has to be evidence of sales coming through as well in order for you to actually do this. But overall, it's good news for estate and lettings agencies, and it's helping them solve the cash flow problem short term, because of course, although there are grants and businesses coming through now slowly, well, actually not slowly, but it is that pent up demand just because people haven't been able to actually buy or view for such a long time. It's helping them be able to keep their businesses running while they're waiting for completions to happen, for those funds to be released from the vendors. So another news then, so planning permission deadlines across construction industries have been extended, which is excellent. They did actually state that they were going to do this a while ago, and they are coming through with this now, so that's good. So if you have planning permission that expired between the start of lockdown and the end of this year, then the deadline will be extended to the 1st of April 21, which is good. So if you're panicking about your planning applications or your planning permissions expiring, don't worry about that. Get in contact with your local planning department who will be dealing with that, and you will be able to make sure that that is deferred until 21. So last week I said about the hyped up demand and comparing year on year, and I gave you, over the last few weeks, all of the hype and data and things like that around sales and how people are perceiving the market to go. And people were saying, oh, the market's recovering, it's doing this, it's doing that, we're seeing lots of sales going through, and I gave you month on month but not year on year. So what I thought I would show you is, because I'm seeing this a lot lately, where we're actually seeing advertised, well, actually May's doing much better than April did, it shows recovery there. And as I said all along, I don't think that you will have little micro markets and for sure, but overall, if you do compare it over the last 5 years, it is down. So to give you an idea of how much it is down, I thought I would actually have a look into that and give you some figures. So let's get some figures here, just updating this because signal isn't too good today. So make sure, guys, if you do lose me, just pop in the chat box so that I'm aware. So some figures for you then, guys. So land registry completed 934,380 in May. Okay, previous month, so April 2020, they completed on 865,970. So there's all this hype saying, oh, look, it's increasing, the demand's coming through, the backlog, we're showing recovery here. And all along I've said, well, actually it's supply and demand. We wasn't able to get out there. We wasn't able to buy. People, how many of these viewings and offers are actually going through to completion, and what does that really look like? So I thought I'd check it year on year. So just to give you an idea then, so we've got April this year, 2020 did 865,970. So if we just compare that to last year in April, they did 1,732,280. Okay, so almost half of it's actually dropped off almost 50% there. So that's an idea for you to, the reason I'm giving you these figures is so that you can ignore the hype and have a look at actual data, which is more important, and that's what I pay more attention to, and actually then understand where we are in the market. So I've been saying all along that I think that there will be a crash. I think that we will know more in October, November, when the job retention scheme finishes, and I do think that this is a hyped up demand down to obviously people not being able to get out there, and the number of people that are placing offers and transactions that are going through. In my opinion, I don't think that we will complete on all of them. So I do think there's going to be a drop off in the market. As I've said before, though, I think there's going to be a small window there of a buying opportunity for us as investors. That's excellent news. So, I've been saying all along, and I'm sure our guest today will probably say the same and give his view on this. But all along, I've been saying, get yourself in a position to buy. If you're international, get your money into the UK, and understand your area, do your research, define your strategy, and make sure that you're ready to start buying when this window of opportunity opens up. So just to give you an idea on what areas are actually doing well. So this is in order as well. So we have Birmingham, City of Westminster. I think I must have, I've got speech problems this morning. So we have Birmingham at the top there. We have City of Westminster, Manchester, Leeds, and Cornwall. So those are your top 5 local authority areas, so they have seen the most growth. So Wales and Scotland are still on lockdown. There are urges there for the Welsh Government to go faster and further in opening up the housing market to help, obviously, with the recovery. So we know that the demand is down, although the demand is up based off the pre-pandemic figures, and it shows that there's more people that are going through, the buying process. We're actually down year on year. But we know what areas, put the top 5 local authority areas there that are performing the best. So what are people buying in those areas, and how has people's behaviour changed? So a few weeks ago, I actually did do a session where I spoke to you about actual statistics and surveys on what people were actually looking at on their buying list now. So that hasn't changed much, but for those of you that perhaps didn't watch the previous episode, I'll just quickly run through a few of them now. So bigger homes is on the list, so those extra bedrooms, the second reception room, bigger gardens, parking and a garage space has become more important and higher on people's list. A home workspace and good internet, which again we spoke about before, and green spaces nearby. So that's on the list of people looking to buy. Now, on the list of people looking to rent, they are looking for actually exactly the same, with one exception. So they're looking for the bigger homes, the garden, the parking, the garage space, good internet, somewhere to work from home, and nearby green spaces and nice walks around them. So very much about the location. With the rental side of it, all of those as well, but top on people's list is a pet-friendly landlord or a pet-friendly property. So guys, for those of you that put restrictions around whether you should have, whether your tenants should have pets and things like that, of course we know that we can't enforce that anyway. If you take on a tenant and they sign a contract with you, and in the contract it states no pets, no smoking, for instance, no pets, and then all of a sudden 3 months into the contract they start smoking 20 cigarettes a day and get 10 cats, there's really nothing you can do about it. You can try and evict them, but you would get thrown out of court, so it wouldn't stand as such. What you can ask for though is a pet bond or a higher deposit, or for them to, the pet bond is probably the best option. So if any damage is done to your rental properties, then you are covered at least, and you don't have to worry about that. Now, on one of my earlier episodes as well, I spoke about how many people have got dogs these days now, the price of dogs maybe we should be in that business, because the price of dogs has shot up massively across the whole of the country, and everybody is getting a little furry friend to take out walking 10 times a day during lockdown. So if these people are looking to move home, guys, and you put restrictions around your tenancies, or you don't want people in your properties with pets, then I do think you'll be missing out on a huge part of the market. So perhaps think about that. So lastly on this section then, Dominic Cummings has said that government would address long-term problems in this sector, such as planning being a big one. The planning system is a huge problem at the moment here in the UK. It's not working currently, it's underfunded, and the system changes area to area, and sometimes actually council within the same council, depending on who you speak to. So it is really quite confusing. It's not straightforward, and it's quite difficult to get planning applications through, and quickly as well. It's very, very time consuming. So there's no consistency throughout the country. So we need a better system. So change is welcomed for sure. And I, for one, am glad that this is finally going ahead and going to be addressed. Dominic's words then. I'll take an axe to the planning laws. I've put a smiley face by that comment as well. So we'll see how that goes. So in terms of lending and the broker then, guys, Not much really going on, not much change from last week either. So I gave quite an in-depth update last week and the week before, and all of our videos are on YouTube as well, guys. So if you want to go and have a look, just check out Your Freedom Empire and you will see this series from 1 to, I think this is our 13th now. But not much going on really through limited company route at the moment. Many are purchasing cash. The lower end of the market with a view to finance. Really, anything under £75,000 is difficult, and in my opinion, £100,000 is difficult to finance at this moment in time. And that's why a lot of people are purchasing cash, you know, because if we're looking at buy-to-lets in Scotland or a HMO in Leeds, you know, our purchase price range there is probably around 60, depending on the quality of of the property when we purchase, up to maybe around 140, 150,000 pounds. So at the higher end, lending may be available to you. You need to speak to your broker, but don't be disheartened by lending at this moment in time. If lenders look at the asset quality and the area, and they look at you as an individual, be prepared to answer as many questions, and there will be many questions, and they are asking more and more questions. So be prepared for that, and I've been trying to build you up for this through the last 13 weeks now as well. If you do have the cash available, lots of people are looking to purchase cash, especially internationals at this moment in time, because we are limited to international lending, although there are a few lenders out there that are still pushing through lending even during this time. On any limited company lending, they are looking for debentures. So, debentures and personal guarantees are required in most cases. So they are asking for them. So just be careful of that. Make sure you understand, make sure you speak about all of it to your broker and your solicitor, so that you understand how that impacts you on purchasing anything else through that limited company, if you are looking to build a portfolio in that limited company and use different lenders, because you would have to get that debenture removed. It is possible. I've done it before, so there's no issues there, but the lender has to agree. So ideally, we don't want to give debentures out. Personal guarantees, I'm more than happy with. I wouldn't be taking on an investment if I didn't do all of the research, work out my worst case scenario, and know that I could fund it. So I'm more than happy to give a personal guarantee, because I know that it will never come to that point. I stress test as much as I possibly can, and everybody knows that, or everybody that knows me knows that I go above and beyond in terms of how I actually do my research on the deals, which is why I've never lost money in property. So moving on from there, then, so we're limited to the lending available through a limited company structure at the moment, but we do have buy-to-let products of up to 75% with a range of lenders, and I've gone through these. I'll just quickly name them out now. Again, like I said, it's based on asset quality and the area, and you as an individual and how you show up. They do want to see at least, they want to see proof of funds there, proof of your deposit, and at least 6 months worth of rent as well, and they will be making sure that you don't have any credit file blips and things like that. So we have Roma Finance, Mortgage Works, TMW, Coventry Building Society, and BM Solutions. They all have decent buy-to-let products. HMOs, we have Paragon, West One, Kent Reliance. Roma Finance are doing a few different products, so some of those that I listed with the buy-to-lets will actually look at HMOs also, albeit up to the 6 beds, and then majority of them are looking at a minimum value of that buy-to-let at 75,000, and we're not seeing much of that going through. So if you are looking at buy-to-lets, you've got to make sure that the end value is higher than that. and if you're purchasing cash, it needs to be a lot higher than that if you're looking to refinance, in my opinion. But then you've got to make sure it still cash flows, because ultimately that's what we do this for. So always make sure you run your numbers prior to moving forward with the lending, what that's been been highlighted, that's available to you, your company, based on your individual circumstances and what you're looking to purchase. Run your numbers, guys. Make sure it cash flows phase 1 and phase 2, and make sure you have that second exit strategy. So a minimum on HMOs is £100,000 there, and that's value, not value. For internationals at the moment, we don't have much that's about. For those of you that have gone through mentorship with us, we actually have a broker that we've been talking to recently, and it's come off the back of a broker that we've worked with for a really long time, just down to the fact of trying to find more products that are available for you guys. And so for those of you that are international, if you are looking to buy at the moment with a with a limited company or through your own personal name, and whether you're just starting out or whether you already own a portfolio here, please get back in contact with us, because we will actually put you in contact with that new broker as well, so that you will have a broker that specializes in your arena. There was the rumours about the bounce back loans showing up on the file marker, so there was speculation around that. That's no more than a rumour at this moment in time, and as I said last week, I can't see how they are going to push that forward, but we will see. If it becomes more than a rumour, I will let you know. A note from the accountant then. So the accountant has said that surprisingly, stamp duty refund cases over lockdown period has soared. It's soared 285% uplift in the claims compared to last year in March and June figures. So that's with people having so much time on their hands, obviously looking into this, and finding out that they've paid far too much stamp duty. So looking for the refunds there that are available to them. So guys, if you think you've paid too much stamp duty, speak to your accountant, speak to your solicitor, and start that process. There's some people that are actually, because cash flow is quite low for some people at this moment in time. A lot of people are actually using their time to target, refunds and things like that. So it's worth looking into if you think that you perhaps may have paid too much stamp duty on any of the transactions that you have done. So the solicitor says it's all good. They're clearing. There's no real backlog there. It has slowed down. So everybody that was put on hold because of lockdown is actually up to speed now, and is moving forward with new cases as normal. There are less new cases. Again, like I said, this is another reason why I talk to everybody within the team, because we really want to understand, all of these statistics that are being put out there, how much of them are actually coming to light, how much of them are actually completing, and that figure on offers actually doesn't transpire to completion. So the solicitors are really good people to talk to. So use your power team and contact them. They're there for you for a reason. They will give you their view on the situation, and don't be afraid to ask them questions. That's what I do every single week to be able to speak to you guys. Builders pretty much, so we've managed to get hold of plaster now. That was like gold dust over the last couple of weeks, and I'm sure today's guest will agree as well. But yes, the materials are all coming through now. Of course, there's still a backlog there, and projects have had to be pushed out slightly because of lockdown. Many builders are looking to recruit to. You've got a mixture of two. You've got lots of builders that are looking to recruit to close down that gap and the time that they've lost during lockdown. And then you've got some builders that are actually quite happy to push the work out, so they've got continuous work over a long period of time. But of course, as an investor, that may or may not suit you. We have got a lot of switching and changing with builders at this moment in time due to obviously their availability. So those of us that have purchased properties that were expecting projects to go ahead, July, for instance, and we're now being told, well, actually, due to the backlog, we can't start your project until August or even further out. Then, of course, we're put in a position where do we stick with that builder or do we switch? Personally, I'm a very loyal person, and I again stress test everything, and projects to take longer than they are anticipated. I look at the costs to me during that time, loss of revenue and things like that. So I actually factor all of this in as part of my calculations before I purchase. Although you can't factor 3 months in, my build team have been with me for many, many, many years now. My electrician I used to go to school with, so I've known him nearly over 30 years. These guys, I would always send my work through to them, and we're a very loyal team. But I have seen a lot of switching and changing through builders. So yes, that doesn't surprise me at all due to obviously the demand. So sales and lettings, it's still going forward. Lots of HMOs and portfolios are coming to the market now. Many of them are coming through auctions, but we have seen lots of them popping up now with local estate agents and many, portfolio landlords looking to get out of the market. And as we said last week, when we had Glenn on, we were talking about, retiring landlords looking to get rid and out of the market, and lease options and things like that. So it's not always just bad. It may just be down to the situation, but there are lots and lots of reasons why people would be looking to get out of the market. Leaves more for us, and of course we can look to purchase an ongoing portfolio there, which is excellent, saves a lot of time, but it does need to be structured correctly. If this is by no means your first deal, unless you are joint venturing with someone that has experience in these types of purchases, but taking advantage of obviously being able to push those all of the portfolio through under one application and not having to pay the additional fees in the completion on those finances as well, dropping to 1.25%. You could purchase a portfolio there over a 6-month period, and all under the one application, which is excellent. So it's all good news. It's supply and demand, isn't it? The lenders have obviously seen that portfolios are coming to the market, and so they've provided a product and made it easier and more cost effective for us as investors to actually just go in and purchase a portfolio there without paying multiple fees. So it's all good. So the surveyor has said, globally figures are down on year on year, and we have said that they're still valuing pre-pandemic. The Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors have removed all restrictions other than the retail space, and as I said last week, they put valuation restriction requirements in place to help guide the surveyor in valuing those property with metrics just to help there. The surveyor has said, the lenders need to, not be switching and changing their lending criteria. Unfortunately, we have seen this happening. And if people can't get lending to purchase, then of course, again, it comes down to supply and demand. And obviously, house prices will drop. It's all still going in the same direction it has been for the last 3 months we've been speaking. So there's still opportunities out there for rental and price growth as long as you'll buy for demand, which you should anyway, in my opinion. Lack of supply in the housing sector is unbelievable, offices and industrial space as well. So as long as you are buying for demand, then you are okay. Run your numbers, stress test, make sure that you you're happy with, worst case scenario, and moving forward you won't get stung. Always have that second exit strategy. Speak to your mentor and speak to your individual power team and your sourcing agents to fully understand what you're buying, your risk before you move forward, and what happens if it doesn't go right to you as an individual and a business. Like I said, all will become clear October, November, when the job retention scheme knocks off and finishes. My prediction is unemployment will rise massively. That will obviously have a knock-on effect. Buying behaviour will change, affordability will change, and lenders have already started changing their criteria. So in my opinion, we are going to have a crash. Very interesting time, and a very, very good time for you to get in a position to buy. So personally, I don't think it's going to be a long crash. There is going to be that window of opportunity to take advantage of. So yeah, just get in the position to buy. We're nearly there, in my opinion. So I've babbled on a little bit there. I'm going to wrap it up because we're 34 minutes in, and I really want to get on to our first guest. So guys, I have a very special guest with me this week. His name is Robert Leighton. And he's going to be talking to us about his area, and he's just an all-round top guy. I've known Rob for a while now and worked with him when international coming to the UK purchasing, so he offers a whole range of services to be able to help you and hold your hand. So Rob, are you on? Is your mic on?
Yep.
Yeah,
can everyone hear me okay?
Welcome to our virtual sofa. Sorry for going on a little bit there with my update, but we have you on now. So I know that the guys are really eager to listen to what Bradford has to offer, and it is on that top 5 local authorities there, and anybody that has come through mentorship. I've been watching Bradford for a really long time now, and it's one of those areas you've seen slow but continuous growth, and it has a lot going for it. So I'm really excited to have you on our virtual sofa. And but before you jump into your section, do you want to tell us, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're going to be covering today with us?
Of course, yeah, not a problem. Hi all. I'm Rob Leighton. I think from looking at the attendees, I think a few of you know me already through Hayley from before. So hi all. Everybody's new as well. So I'm Rob Leighton. I'm born and bred in the Bradford area. As you can probably tell by my accent, I will try and slow down a little bit as well. I've been told that a few times to slow down because of my accent being too strong. So what we're going to talk about is the company that I've got with my family, so RJG Sourcing. So that's Rob, Jen and George. It was his 5th birthday yesterday, actually, yes. So the G of the RJG is now 5. So we had a nice little day out in the park and stuff, and enjoyed a bit of sun. I caught a bit of a nice tan over the last few weeks and stuff during lockdown.
Shining on your head.
I know. I'm in my office and I've got the light shining on my head, so it's a bit. It looks like the sunshine's shining on me, but it's not. I'm inside. So Bradford's a great area. I am a bit biased with it being, obviously, me being born and bred in Bradford. I'm just going to talk through a few slides about how we work, and a little bit about the area, about why we should come, why as an investor you should come to Bradford, and we'll talk about a few little things. And then if you've got any questions, please put them in the chat, and Hayley and I will try and answer them as best we can. I'll try not to rabble on too much.
I'm going to turn my camera off, so I'll join you on the questions. So guys, feel free to start putting your questions in. You don't have to wait for Robert to finish. We'll address your questions after, but over to you, Robert.
Thank you. Hi all. So as I mentioned, we're RJG Sourcing. We've been a sourcing agent for 3 years now. We went through the legacy training back in when we completed 2 years ago, so 2018 we've been doing it. I was doing some co-sourcing beforehand with some fully regulated sourcing agents, but obviously we wanted to go down our own route. So I'll just give you a bit of a brief introduction. I've actually gone through the legacy training back in 2016. I used to work for Deloitte as a management consultant within human resources and payroll, so I should hopefully think I know my numbers. And then I've been investing in property since 2010, really, mainly just doing it in my own name. But then once I got a bit bored of working with Deloitte from doing so many crazy hours and not being appreciated, I can imagine a lot of people in the same boat. I decided to want to go more professional and want to work in it full time. So I wondered how I would get further, and that was by just doing some additional training to give you that confidence. A bit like when you're doing your mentorship with Hayley. I mean, Hayley's a great mentor. As Hayley mentioned, I've known her for a while now, and we've worked closely together on a few things. And she'll be quite interested. As she said, she's quite interested in hearing about Bradford. Immensely. So let's carry on with that. I got made redundant in 2017, which accelerated my property journey. And then I'm now I'm a director of 4 companies. I'm actually a director of 6 companies now because I'm doing some joint ventures with people as well. So about how we can work together as well going forward, not just as a sourcing agent, but once we've built up that relationship with people, as a family company, where we like to build relationships and not just about showing you how to invest in the UK and stuff. I mean, you've done the most of the donkey work with Hayley and Paul and co. So. We just like to take that little bit step further to say we've sourced some properties on to some of our international investors that we've gained through Legacy. We're actually doing some joint ventures now with them because then we can offer some of our UK discount things holding within the area, because not in all areas it might not necessarily have all the deals that you can get. It might not necessarily work if you did it by yourself. Or you might not be able to get the property if you did it through by yourself. But if you work closely, like with one of us, it might not necessarily be me, but it could be somebody else. And we built that relationship up, which is what we like to do. Then we could potentially do some joint ventures going forward, which is I've done with a couple from New Zealand. We're great big rugby fans as well, so we've got that. I conducted an orientation there. We've built a great relationship, sourced a couple of deals onto them, and then now we want to do a joint venture because they wanted to go into the commercial market, but they don't have that experience yet, whereas I do. And then I'll handhold them through the whole process and see where we go with that. So a little bit more about Bradford now, which is what I think you're a bit bored of listening to me. So Bradford is virtually in the centre of the UK. As you can see on the map, it's the sister city to Leeds, which Leeds is in competition with Manchester to be the northern powerhouse. So I don't know if you can see on the map. So literally between Leeds and Bradford, it's about 15-20 minute drive. On the train, it's 20 minutes because it's a bit of a slow line. But what they are doing now is they're going to develop, in conjunction with HS2. I won't go to HS2 because we want to talk about Bradford and things. I think everybody knows about HS2 anyway. But they are going to be building a northern powerhouse line which will connect York and beyond up to like Newcastle through to Liverpool and Manchester. So and Bradford is going to be part of that line. So it's going to bring an extra £2 billion worth of economic value to Bradford. Bradford is already the 5th largest economy in the UK and the largest metropolitan district council. So it's got to a lot with the economy already. So Bradford still specialises in manufacturing. There's a lot of industrial areas in Bradford, which obviously then brings a lot of key workers into the area, whether it be from abroad or whether from the UK as well. So back in the old days, in the Industrial Revolution, they mainly developed cotton and wool, and Bradford still developed that now. So it doesn't always get everything from the international, like over in China and other countries. It also manufactures its own for the UK. We've still got the British Wool Company based in Bradford, which is one of our larger employers. Along with such as we've got the 4th largest supermarket, which is Morrison's. Their head office has been born and bred out of Bradford. There's been numerous changes within the Morrison's organisation over the years as they expand. They've also got Seabrook Crisps. They've got the Yorkshire Building Society based in Bradford. We've also got Hovis Bread, which is born and bred again in Bradford, and it's great tasting bread. I love my bread, so I do buy that quite a lot. And also, it's really good for your rental market. Sorry, my voice goes, so I need to keep drinking water every now and again. I like a little joke I like to say is we actually are in the middle of Great Britain's actually part of Bradford Halifax area. So I don't know if you can see on the map, there's Great Britain there. So it shows we're the centre of the universe. So why Bradford? I've just mentioned a few things. We've got large organisation businesses. The location, being along the M62 corridor, is fantastic. Um, it means that it opens up to a whole bunch of areas. You can get to Manchester within less than an hour. Driving, you can get on the train. On the train, it takes a little bit longer, but when the Northern Powerhouse route comes in, you'll be able to get to Manchester within 21 minutes, which is absolutely crazy. So you're cutting down 40 minutes worth of time on the train. You can get to Bradford in 9 minutes. And there's regular routes down to London. So there's 6 regular trains with Grand Central and London North Eastern Railways. I think they've changed the name to now. I don't catch the train that much anymore, so I don't take as much interest. It used to be a bit of a train spotter, but not anymore. Um, and then you can get down to London in less than 3 hours, which is fantastic as well. And when HS2 comes up, they're going to have a route spurring off from Leeds into Bradford, so that'll obviously reduce the time to less than 2 hours, which would be fantastic. There's going to be a massive international airport expansion at Leeds Bradford Airport. We're looking to rebuild the new terminal and opening up the up the avenues to more airlines coming in. Leeds Bradford Airport before Doncaster took over. We used to have the Concorde land in Bradford, so that's quite an interesting fact. Because we used to have the longest runway in the UK, but then when Doncaster Robin Hood Airport opened, because that was a former RAF base, and that now has become the longest runway in the UK. So we lost that title, but we do have a title of the curry capital of the UK. We've won that 7 years on the trot. So if you ever do visit Bradford and you like your Indian food, fantastic. Curry Mile is a great place to go and eat. It's one of the up and coming areas of Bradford. It's Bradford City Centre, and there's various different parts of it where. There's a new shopping centre now. I've made a bit of the slide there says £85 million. I wish it was that cheap, but it was actually £260 million was the development of the new shopping centre, which has completely transformed the bottom end of Bradford, because I actually watched the old shopping centre get knocked down from my old office when I used to work for Bradford Council. So I do have contacts within the council as well. And so what's good is that now there's more and more people wanting to come in to live in the city centre of Bradford, which is what the issue potentially was before. We never had a lot of people living in the city centre. So Bradford City Centre back in the 90s, it was crazy busy. A lot of people work there, still do now, but everyone never used to stay behind. Whereas like now, no one lives in the city centre. They all live in the suburbs, the towns of the Bradford area. And because they've got all the facilities that they need, no one ever really stayed in the centre of Bradford. But now, Bradford Council have made it a priority of theirs to make more people live there. Or to get more people live there, I should say, which will open up the nightlife. It'll open up bars, restaurants, and people want to be entertained in the evening. There's various other developments going on in Bradford as well at the moment. There's a £90 million college being built, a sixth form college, which is going to build the gap between the universities and the schools. There's also a new arena being developed from an old cinema, which they found some beautiful old Art Deco. Decor in there, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, they are removing it because they want to make it more modern. It's going to be like a 4,000-seater emporium, which will challenge Leeds Arena for bringing in some of the top acts, like Tom Jones. Well, I'd say like Britney Spears and stuff, but I don't think she'd come to Bradford. She's just too busy living life in Vegas at the moment. We've also got the National Heritage Site, so I'm not sure if anybody's aware of the Bronte sisters. So they originate from a town called Haworth, which is part of Keighley, which is my gold mine area. Fantastic place for developing, and also for buy-to-lets, HMOs, commercial conversions, as is the whole of Bradford, really. I'll go into a bit more detail shortly. But yeah, the Bronte sisters, that brings a lot of tourism into the area. Haworth itself, just purely for the visits of the Bronte sisters, they will bring in over 1 million tourists over a year. Plus, we have Tour de Yorkshire come through now, which is a birth of the Tour de France. So they had the Tour de France come through where Yorkshire once, when I think is it every 50 years or every 100 years of the Tour de France, they go to a different country to try and bring cycling to that area. But yeah, so Tour de Yorkshire happens every year now. It's been cancelled this year because obviously the coronavirus, but we're back on again. And that again brings a lot of tourists to the area as well, which is fantastic. And then a really positive thing is that at the moment there's no Article 4 or selective licensing. The reason being that because there was an issue with HMO. There is an issue with HMOs in the centre of Bradford, especially around the university area, where a lot of the landlords don't want to redevelop the houses to bring up to scratch. So what the university have done is they've built their own student pods. So in essence, that's ruling out the HMO landlords around the university area and they're struggling to rent them out at £40 a week, including bills, because they're an absolute mess. But they want top dollar for them. So on average, they'll for selling, they're on the asking price for over 180,000. They need about £90,000 worth of work doing to them. It just doesn't add up. So unless you're happy to leave a lot of money in, which some people are doing now. So a lot of people from London are coming up and they're actually buying these because because the return of investments on them and the yields are still great, but you're going to be leaving around about £100,000 in the deal. So personally, I tend to keep away from them. But if anyone's interested, then obviously I will point them in that direction. I will go looking for them to do that because when they're brought up to speed, you can make some crazy money on them. It's a fantastic place for that. And some of the nicer ones in Bradford now are turning over £100, £110 a week, which for Bradford prices, which is the average around about 75, 80. If you put a good product out there, they will have that. So what we do, just before we go into some of the services, I just want to mention a little bit about some of the other things in Bradford. So something that Hayley and I have discussed in the past about Bradford when she's visited. She was Bradford used to have a bit of a stigmatism about it when the Bradford riots happened about 15, 20 years ago, and there was still some knock-on effects from that. So Leeds has shot up, and everybody wants to be in Leeds, all the top organisations and stuff. Whereas now Leeds is getting too expensive. People are now coming towards Bradford because it's only 20 minutes down the road. So like companies like PwC and other organisations, or parts of the HMRC are keeping their buildings in Bradford. So there's a knock-on effect from Leeds because they're too expensive. Whereas like the ground rents and having properties in Bradford is a lot cheaper, and you can get a lot more for your money, and you're only just down the road. People are quite happy to travel, especially when Leeds are now bringing on one of our main TV channels, so Channel 4, one of our terrestrial TV channels. Their organisation's coming up to Leeds in a beautiful old building there, which used to be a nightclub. It's been turned into beautiful offices. And then the HMRC are actually bringing their head office into Leeds, but they're going to have some sub-offices. They've got 2 sub-offices in Bradford, which they're going to continue with as well. So that's going to have like 5. That's going to either relocate 5,000 up to 5,000 people, or there's going to be new 5,000 up to 5,000 jobs in the area. So if people are relocating, they don't necessarily want to live in Leeds. There's the beautiful parts of Bradford, which I'll share a link. Shortly in the chat, to have a view at your own perusal, just showing about what Bradford can offer, not just about property as well. When you want to invest in an area, it's not just about investing in property. You want to make sure the demand's there, like what Hayley was saying. You're buying towards demand. You want to make sure the rental things are there, but you also want to make sure that there's a lot of heritage and stuff as well. And if you would ever come to visit, you want to make sure you come to the right place. So Bradford's got a lot of history. One street in Bradford dates back to the 1400s. I only found that out when I submitted a planning application through to convert a shop into to convert the upstairs of a shop into flats, or doing a commercial to resi conversion. And when I went going through that process, when we were talking to the planning department, because it actually brought up a lot of history about the building and stuff and about the area. So which is fantastic, bringing some history. I knew it dated back to about the 1600s and stuff, but I didn't realise it dated back to the 1400s. But yeah, just going back to some of the points about the history of Bradford as well. So about the riots. So back when the days of the riots and stuff, you couldn't walk around certain areas of Bradford without being either stone, brick, knifed, shot at. Whereas like now, that's completely changed. There's multiple areas. There's an area of Bradford called Manningham. I'll point that out because Hayley likes to talk about that area. So she was quite worried about the area and stuff, saying as it changed, and to be honest, it has. I went to go and view a house down there a while back, and I was quite surprised. I'd still thought about the stigmatism about the area, but it was, everyone was multiracial, multicultural. Everyone came out to see to each other, and they're all chatting, talking and shaking hands and stuff. Whereas, going back even about 10 years ago, that would never have happened. So there's a lot of different change in the cultural mindset as well within Bradford, which is great for bringing different people into the areas, and also increasing the property prices in the area and the rental demand, and the demand for the area as well. Because if you had an area where it's only predominantly like Asian population, no one else would go there. Whereas now there's multiple different people living there, which is fantastic. It's just it can only benefit the area really. So. Just to talk a bit more about ourselves now, the services we provide. So Hayley mentioned about her power team. I've got a full power team as well, where I've got multiple build teams. So my main builder is an old rugby friend of mine. I've known him since like 13 years old. We played rugby together. We started playing rugby together. We've sort of grown up together in the area. So he predominantly looks after all my work, all my building work. But I also do have 2 other teams as well, because the amount of work we push his way. He's got a team of 30 people, but it's also good to have other people on hand as well, that just in case my builder prices a job out, I don't want to necessarily bust a deal for somebody, whereas like my other builder potentially can fit that in. So I'll just give you an example of that. We've completed on 3 different projects this week for our international investors, which I'm splitting out between my 2 builders. So because when Hayley talked about a backlog due to like the missing plaster, the missing gold dust, as we like to call it, that's all now back on track and stuff. But it's just putting a backlog on some of the starting of the works and stuff. So luckily my other builder's finished some of his previous works, and he's going to be able to start on a renovation of 3 flats, which is going to be great for our investors, one of our investors from Hong Kong. Whereas then my other builder, James, he'll be starting next week, and which is my main builder. He'll be starting next week on a conversion from a 4-bedroom house into a 5-bedroom HMO. So that'd be great for the area as well. It's right in the centre of town. It's what type of properties we look for. We look to the centre of town, where the main demand is. We look for demand. So we speak with local social housing associations. We speak with the local council to make sure that they, as a worst case scenario is if a private tenant wouldn't want it, then we would give it to either charity, social housing, or the council itself, because they've got various different schemes going on which they can potentially help, populate the properties and stuff. So. I've also got my own brokers and stuff. I'm trying to get them to work more with international investors. Some do, but I would imagine they're probably not as good as Hayley's broker and stuff when it comes to working with internationals. And then also I've got an insurance. I work with insurance brokers, solicitors, which depending on what different types of areas when I'm working in, I've got different types of estate agents and letting agents as well, because. I used to use one single letting agent for the whole of the Bradford area, but because Bradford's that big and it's got so much different demand in different areas, they don't necessarily know what because you wouldn't send someone over from, like, say, part of Bradford, which is Skipton, through to the other side of Bradford, to the centre of Bradford, because they wouldn't know what's going on in the centre of Bradford, and vice versa, because they all live in their own little pockets. So I just want to just reiterate the saying. I got my power team. I developed now to be specialised in their own areas. So, like, say for example, if someone wants to invest in Keighley, I've got an estate agent like that's focused on there. So in Skipton, which is part of Bradford, and then centre of Bradford. Around the centre of Bradford, there I've got a different estate agent, like an agent there that looks after that. Because as I mentioned, you can't just have a jack of all trades and skilled in none. So you need to make sure that you've got a specialist in all the areas, which is probably one of the best advice I could give to anybody, is make sure you've got your power team that knows where they are, know the area, which is what we do as part of RJG Sourcing. We've got the reassurance, local knowledge on the ground. And I'll say I've been born and bred in Bradford. I've played rugby all around the Bradford area and Halifax, Huddersfield, and Leeds and various other areas as well. But I specialise in Bradford because I know I've got that knowledge of the area as well. We do full project management of refurbs. We've got good relations with key individuals. So what I mean by that is the builder, insurance broker, solicitors, estate agents, letting agents, so the specialised people in them areas. And we've also got because what I class as key individual as well is how we find our deals. A lot of our deals are direct to vendor, and it's word of mouth, because a lot of people know me and know what I do, and they know that I buy property and I work with people, other investors as well. So I'm just working on 2 direct to vendor deals at the moment where. One's one of my close friend's cousin. He's provided me a few deals now, so I just buy him a nice drink when we go out and stuff. So on the 4th of July, we all meet up in a pub to have a few drinks and stuff. And I'll be saying thank you for your help for passing some deals over my way. So I'll buy him a few rounds, a few drinks and stuff. So just to keep him happy, and just let him pass more deals on to me and stuff. So it's about having key relationships with people, and the way that we are working with nice people. Let's say like Hayley says, you got to work with people that you trust and you know that you want to work with and stuff, rather than everybody just jumping on. So we like to work with key people as well, that we've got great relationships with. And if people can throw deals our way, and I'll make sure people are happy with by passing them deals over and stuff. So it's a win-win situation for all. That's a key takeout, is making sure it's win-win for everybody, for the investor, the sourcing agent, and the people that are passing deals your way, and also the seller as well, because a lot of people get a bit of a spag stigmatism saying that they just try to rip you off, whereas we're just trying to make the best opportunity for everybody. So if it means that offering market value, but you've got different strategies that you can go forward with. So say for example, if it didn't work as a buy to let, it might work and turn into flats, or it might work as a HMO. So we've got that armor up our sleeve, whereas like a normal person wouldn't necessarily know that. So we can potentially offer, like, make it up. If we have to offer below market value, we will do. If we don't, there's no need, because we know we can get the money on the back end. We'll get the higher rents and the higher demand as well on that as well. Because the key thing is, when I mentioned before about these, like, I class them as like rogue landlords that don't do anything to the properties and stuff. It's, if you've got a decent property out there, which is what we do. Then you'll be able to command a lot higher, a lot better, as well as making it affordable for people as well, because you don't want to be being pricing yourself out of the demand. So I'm just going to run through. So we've got some couple of deals that we have run through in the past. So this is a 4-bedroom HMO, which again I got off my friend, another cousin of his. He sold, which was selling. So we passed that on to us. An international investor from Hong Kong, so we converted that into a 4-bedroom HMO, so which is quite happy with. It's a straightforward, bog standard HMO. That's where we're renting out to the council tenants and stuff, so which is good for that type of demand. And then this would be a flip opportunity. Bingley, this is a really popular area in Bradford. It's quite expensive normally, so as you see, this is a flip opportunity where if it's 75,000, it's worth 123 on the back end. So it's quite a good flip opportunity there for a 2-bedroom terraced house, which is one of the most high demand areas of Bradford. And then we also conduct on orientation days. So at the moment, obviously, it's a bit hard to be for people to travel over or up from London and be sat in a car and with social distancing at the moment, as we are. We do predominantly we do all orientation days face to face, where we drive around the area. You get to meet our power team. You get a feeling for the area. Obviously, continue the good work that Hayley and the team are doing. And then we show you about like what we do on a day-to-day basis, how we work with different people, how our builder works. You just get a great feel of just for you to get a better feel for the area. Because like most people like certain areas of Bradford compared to the other, and they'll say, well, actually, I want to focus in this area of Bradford, which we can say, well, actually, this is quite a big suburb, so there's plenty of opportunity here. So why not go and invest in this certain area of Bradford, because we can give that opportunity, because we've got that knowledge in all of the areas of Bradford. We can give that, whereas like other people only have certain areas, knowledge of certain areas of Bradford, but we specialise in all of it. We do at the moment online orientation days. So we do like video calls like via Zoom, and we'll bring either the builder in online, or we'll do a video with the key people and stuff within our team, and then we'll show that and talk through the opportunities and stuff, and get to know each other a little bit more as well, which is good. As I reiterate, it's about building that relationship and getting to know who you're working with, which is what we like to do. We prefer to get to know somebody prior to sourcing deals on, because obviously we need to know that we're a good fit for each other and stuff. So we need to make sure we're both happy with that. That's come towards the end of my presentation. I just wanted to say, I'm going to open up the chat to see if there's any questions. Hayley, I don't know if you want to mention, add anything on, or have you got any questions for me as well?
No, we've got a few questions online here. I know that you're quite restricted with time, aren't you? And so, but that was excellent, Rob. I'm always happy to hear about Bradford, and like I said, you're one of the good guys, and I like. For those of you that know me that have come through mentorship, we select our team very carefully. There's lots of people that want to work with us, and we actually handpick who we work with. And Rob is one of those guys that you can trust. And Bradford is an excellent area, like I said, and you're quite right about Manningham. So I researched it, I think it was about 7 years ago, and I run through a map on mentorship, and I actually have in bold red writing stay clear and a circle around Manningham. And the reason was because actually maybe 7 to 10 years ago, perhaps when I did research that particular part of Manningham anyway, you wouldn't walk down the street, so I wouldn't get out my car, I wouldn't drive down those streets. So it was really, really rough. But this is what I've been saying to a lot of people over the years. We don't want to be buying where it's already a premium price. We want to be looking for areas that are up and coming, looking at the regeneration, money that's being pumped into that area, what businesses are coming in, is the population increasing, what's the employment rate, is it rising, is it people actually, is the area seeing growth, and is it going to be a sustainable growth? And like I said, I've been watching Bradford for a while now, and I always love you coming to our offices, our training facility, and having a little chat about how things have changed. And one of the biggest things that you highlighted to me was actually Manningham now is up and coming. It's much more diverse, and there's demand for accommodation there now, whereas a lot of people used to stay away from there. So it just shows you, and everybody always used to say to me about an area that I invest in, which was a dive, basically, when I first started many years ago. But I actually did look into, and we're going to do an area research section, which, Robert, you already do all of this, but we're going to do a live area research section where we can actually show you how you can pinpoint areas that actually right now nobody wants to live there, but actually we're not just looking for rubbish areas to buy cheaply. We're actually looking at the growth of that area and the potential of that area based on funds that will be available, through lottery schemes, through regeneration projects, and different companies and things like that, moving their businesses around the UK. So we actually map that out. It's not chance that we just choose an area. It's actually very, very well thought out, and a lot of time that goes into it. And again, like I say to you guys, get your area research right, and you will never lose money in property. That is my opinion, because I never have. And I'm an area research freak. I'll sit there all day. It doesn't. I actually enjoy doing it. Do you actually like doing the research, Rob?
Yeah, I do actually, to be fair. I mean, I'm always keeping an eye out what's up and coming and what's going on around the areas, just to keep our knowledge up as well, really. I mean, I'm still starting to investigate more into Leeds now, because it's always good to keep the options open, because a lot of people do like Leeds. And I'm just trying to compare and when I talk, so if I've got the knowledge about Leeds as well, I can compare the two between Bradford and Leeds and say, well, actually, you'll get more for your money here than you would here, but your demand will be slightly different as well. It's a different type of profile that you would have as well.
Yeah, and actually, just with Bradford and Leeds. So Bradford's it's about 5 miles west of Leeds, isn't it, Bradford?
Yeah, it's not far at all.
And you're talking 20 minutes on a train.
Yeah.
You can actually commute quicker from Bradford into Leeds than if you actually live in Leeds, because of the traffic and things like that is
crazy.
a nightmare. So actually, looking at your area research as well, and you've just, this is another reason why I talk about Bradford and not particularly Leeds, unless I'm looking at serviced accommodation. But the reason I look at Bradford more so is because
Sorry, I have to bring the little. I have to bring the little one on.
So the reason I look at Bradford as well is because actually we always do that. So we only look at the satellite towns. So we look at the main town or city centre, and then we look at around 20 minutes ratio away from there, because we get much more for our money, and the demand is still there as well, because it's within a decent commuter time. So as long as you've got the transport links, actually it's much better to go further out anyway. Yeah,
I agree with that. I agree with that fully. Which is why I say my Goldine area is a town that's 20 minutes outside of Bradford and stuff, and it's a fantastic place. It's where I actually, when I say I'm born and bred in Bradford, I'm born and bred in Keighley, and it's a great place for all that. I'm actually trying to buy most of it, so I love the town. I want to help regenerate it and everything as well. It's not just about buying the property; it's about getting involved in the community as well and helping out with all that. And it's great little towns. And then Bingley as well. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's for people to live there, it's one of the most desirable areas. And you got like Haworth and Oakworth as well, which is where the railway children were from. Some fantastic stuff going on. We're on the board, which I forgot to mention. We're on the board of the Yorkshire Dales, which is even better. So.
Yeah, it is awesome investment area. So we've got a few questions then, Rob. I can see that you've been literally left holding the baby.
Hey, I don't mind my little one.
What's their name?
This is Sophia. She's one.
How old is she?
She's one.
I didn't know you had one. I didn't realise you had two.
Yeah, get this one quiet.
Oh, she's adorable. Nothing actually distracts me more than babies. My son is the love of my life, and I'd have a whole football team if I could. Absolutely love him. Anyway,
these are a bit like rugby players.
She's going to be very well informed and well educated in property. We're starting her at 1 year old, so
exactly.
We run through a few of these questions, and then we can let you off.
Otley.
Yeah, so there's a question. What about Otley?
Otley.
Do you know where?
I mean, Otley's like a historic market town. It's a bit more expensive stuff, so you'd have to go for more like your commercial to resi conversions there. I've actually been looking in Otley myself about doing some commercial to resi there, but for like a HMO it wouldn't work. For a buy to let it wouldn't necessarily work because the house prices are a lot more expensive. But again, because it's close, it's not far from Ilkley. It's not you can get to Harrogate, Leeds quite easily and stuff. It's got great connections again to the area. There's a big conversion of like an old mill that's going to be turned into like apartments or knocked down into houses and stuff. So again, there's a lot of development going on around there. It's very close to the airport, so great for transport links to people who want to travel internationally or even to other parts of the UK. So
yeah, brilliant.
I would say for commercial to resi or commercial stuff for there only. Personally.
Yeah. And what's your model in terms of purchase price range, and do you predominantly look at HMOs? Is that?
We look at all sorts, to be honest. I mean, buy-to-lets is what we specialise in mainly. But the type of properties that are in the Bradford and Keighley area and stuff, they're all mainly old terraced houses. So you can get. When I say we always look at multiple exit strategies. So there's one I've got directly with a friend at the moment. I've got 3 strategies on it. One as a buy-to-let. It doesn't necessarily work as a buy-to-let personally. It wouldn't for me, and I wouldn't recommend it as a buy-to-let. It would be a 5-bedroom HMO or turn it into 3 flats. The purchase price is 62,000. There's options as well. Like the next door we're looking to convert the garden into housing and stuff. So there's an option with this one to try and buy some extra, to buy some land as well with it. To go forward to make it even better. It's like a little present.
Send that one through to me. And what's your typical? So I mean, a lot of people ask questions around, how much per room on a HMO in terms of build spend. Do you have a kind of metric like that just to give the guys an idea of costs?
Yeah, so what we do is say if it's a 4-bedroom HMO, it'll cost about 24,000 to do. If it needs the full works, so what we do we overspec it as well with all the fire regulation stuff, and we've had the council out. We bring the council out to all our HMOs because we want to give them the option to rent it as well. So they require additional requirements. So, and they've said that a lot of our HMOs are above spec. I said, well, I was a bit cheeky with them. As I said to them, saying, well, I don't want you coming out telling us we need to replace all the electrics and stuff and things at a later date when we've got tenants in there. So we do a bit of tongue in cheek and stuff. They went, okay, we get you. And then they love the places and stuff. But it's good to have that good relationship with the council as well. So if you can have a bit of banter and stuff with them and things, it's
that's great. I mean, that's a really competitive price for a 4-bed HMO. Excellent.
Yeah, and it's a very good standard as well. It's not it's got like your feature walls and things. That furniture's separate from that. So.
Yeah, brilliant. And do you do a furniture solution as well? Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my wife gets involved. She likes to do all that sort of thing. So she goes shopping and tries to get like a good deal, out of that. So like, on average, it's going to be about $3,500 for furniture for the whole place on a 4-bedroom HMO. Whereas like we've looked at these furniture companies and stuff, and they charge like 5 plus. But obviously, the only difference is you can rent from them as well, can't you, and stuff, which is great rather than just purchasing. So obviously, the different options which we would be different too.
Brilliant. So we've got another question here. Is there any special licensing requirement for larger HMOs, 7 bed plus?
Sorry.
You go on. You can go.
I was just going to say, all for 7 bedroom plus is all you need is like an extra kitchen in them and stuff, and make sure you have like your ensuite. So it depends on the demand area as well. It's not necessarily a special requirement. The only special requirement is you need to make sure you have 2 kitchens on something 7 and above. Whereas normally anything 5, but you'd have like just 2 hobs and cookers. But it's more about demand, about how it depends on how many ensuites you want to put in and things. It depends on your cost, really. It's more about your tenant demand, what you go for. So, like, say for students, you need student houses, where I said it probably costs about 90,000. It's to put 2 kitchens in there, put everything en suite, which is not there already and stuff. So, obviously, that adds up. But if you're just looking towards like doing the minimal, but obviously making it a good condition as well, is so a lot of people in the area are quite happy to share. I've shared appliances and stuff, and shared en suites, shared bathrooms. And
that's down to your tenant profile being kind of blue collar workers, isn't it?
Exactly that, yeah, exactly. And like a lot of my, to be honest, I call mine. I've got 2 HMOs in Keith, and I call them Heartbreak Hotel, because it's got all my friends who are breaking up from the partners at the moment. But it's a bit sad, but it's people know to come to us and stuff. Just going back to just reiterate that point that everyone knows what we do in the area, even in the centre of Bradford and stuff, and say, look, Rob, have you got anything anywhere for us to stay? For 6 months, while we sort ourselves out, or longer. I mean, someone's been in there nearly 2 years now. They haven't sorted themselves out yet. But
I remember mentioning on a talk that I did that we get a lot of divorced men come through, and one lady asked, "Well, why divorce men?" I thought, well, why do you think?
They get a cleaner every 2 weeks. Get all the bills paid for, life of luxury.
There you go, guys. If you want to mess around, then be prepared to live in a HMO. No, that's brilliant. So, Robert, I know that you're busy at the moment. If you want, you can kind of drop off. I'll continue to answer these questions and just.
I'm okay for that. My wife's gone to the gym, so.
Is she all right?
That's why we drop her off down. You see, so.
I just want to say how well behaved little Sophia is. She's brilliant, isn't she?
Well, you should see the mess she's making.
Have you got like drawings all over your
all about business cards and stuff and things, and just throwing on my business cards around and stuff. But hey, if it keeps her happy.
Everybody's having babies at the moment. We've had one of the mentors in our team have a beautiful little girl and sending us pictures through all the time, making me broody. Right, okay. So another question. Hi, Rob. What are the costs for an online orientation day?
Hey, Roland. Yeah, it's £120 for online orientation day. You get like what I mentioned during the talk. It's virtually the same as face-to-face one, but we'll just do either video calls with the people. We'll bring people in on video calls, or we'll pre-record a video in time for that. We try to make all our orientation days, where it's online or face-to-face, more personal to you as well.
Yeah,
and they say £120. It's 1 to 1.5 hours for that.
Yeah, brilliant, fantastic. And then hold on. Hi, Hayley. for Bob. Which district should investors avoid in Bradford? Very good question. Well done.
To be honest, it's not just district. It's more even at street level.
Yeah.
Because there's some areas in Bradford. I used to live in BD4, but that's separated by a road down the middle, going towards Leeds. And if you lived on the left hand side of Leeds, that's a no-go area. But if you lived on the right, fantastic for like buy-to-lets and stuff. Cheap. It's an old council estate, whereas the other side across the road is like an old council estate, but it's rough. Taxi drivers don't even go down there still now. It's that rough and stuff. Whereas like the other, if you go to the right, perfectly fine. A lot of people, mainly older people, live down there, so it's quite a lot. There will be a lot of demand coming up for empty houses soon and things. But it means it's quieter. It's better for people to live and stuff. So and then there's other areas as well. I mean, it's just because the prices are too expensive. Like Saltaire, for example, beautiful town. It's got a bustling high street, but the house price is like around 300,000 plus. So again, for the investor, it wouldn't necessarily work, but a great place to visit. So not necessarily the bad areas. BD3 as a whole, I would say keep away from BD3. In the next 5 or 6 years' time, yes, start going there. But for now, I'd say keep away from them, because if you buy a house at 50,000, spend 20,000 doing it up, it's going to cost 50,000. It's going to still be worth 50,000. So it's just at the start of the regeneration. So the house prices obviously aren't. You won't be able to push up your appreciation.
It's not the type of purchase where you would buy at £50,000, force the appreciation, refinance, and pull your cash out to move on to the next one.
Exactly that.
Perhaps somewhere that if you wanted to buy and leave the money in that deal for 5 years, you would be able to then, obviously, if it's in the regeneration area, the price will go up. So we've got another question here. What about around the hospitals for HMOs? So you said that there's no Article 4 in Bradford.
Yeah, there's no Article 4 in the whole of Bradford.
Coming, do you think? Is there any talks around that?
No, not all. Not at the moment. All selective licensing, which I'm really surprised about, because there's some of the messages I see. And then other towns and cities around the area are starting to get selective licensing as well. I know we're talking about Article 4, but other towns in the area is not far away, and they've got selective licensing, and they're thinking selective license should be coming to Bradford soon, but there's no talk of it.
Yeah.
But I think that's because there's a lot more like educated investors now and things coming on board into the area, making the place a lot better. Exactly. But when it comes to the Article 4, no, there's no talk about that whatsoever at the moment. So
great, brilliant. Okay, so there's another question from Pauline, or kind of like a statement. Does it depend what side of the river you are on?
No, not to be honest. I mean, but when I've looked at the house price and stuff, I mean, some are cheaper than others. But again, for the type of properties that type of things that you want to buy, they're on the higher side of the prices for a normal house to come, if you're going to do some work to it as well. Again, a bit like BD3, where you need to keep, it'd be a long-term investment, but higher. So on average, you're talking around about 90,000 to 100,000 to buy plus on one side of the river, and then obviously if you're only getting £500-700 rent, obviously that doesn't work with your cash flow equation and stuff like that. So thinking as an investor, I would say no, but if you wanted to do a bit more capital appreciation, which you will get in Otley, then you're thinking like, depends on your strategy. It depends on what your strategy is, I would say. Personally, from how I work with my investors and stuff, and how predominantly my investors work, it'd be a no. But if someone wants to like keep it for a long time and stuff, and have the appreciation go up and then sell it at some point, or pull more money out at some point, then I'd say yes on that one.
Great. Okay, brilliant. So we don't have any more questions in there. So Rob, I'm going to say thank you ever so much. It was lovely to see. Look at her with her dummy as well. Hello. Don't they? Hello. Oh, adorable. So I'm going to say thank you to both of you. That was a great session. If the guys want to get in contact with you to book an orientation day or anything like that, how would you recommend that they do that?
I'll put my detail. Before I leave, I'll type my details into the chat and stuff. And if anybody's interested in stuff, then feel free to contact me by email or on WhatsApp or anything like that. be great to get involved with you guys and girls and stuff. So and thank you for having us. Sophia joining as well. Pull the pin lid off.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Thanks ever so much, Rob. So guys, Rob's going to pop his details in there. If you don't manage to get hold of it, just contact us at admin@yourfreedomempire and I'll get his details sent through anyway. But I'll say thank you very much, Rob. Have a great rest of the day and enjoy your family time.
Thank you, and thank you for having us on. It's been great, and been appreciating. I appreciate the time that you've given us. So thank you very much.
Bless you.
Have a good day. Take care.
Bye.
Bye all.
So guys, that was Rob from Bradford. He's awesome sourcing agent, excellent guy, just does what he says he's going to do on the tin. Is very transparent, very open and very giving with his time and knowledge, and the projects that he's doing fit most of our internationals, but UK as well. Hopefully that was a good session for you. If you do have any questions or anything like that, please still pop them through. We'll get them addressed for you. But just moving on then, guys, to our new cutting edge property platform. So we actually have a platform that will be coming live in the next coming weeks, and it is revolutionary. There isn't anything else in the market like it. You've probably seen me talking about this loads on social media and that, but I'm super excited about it because it's not just a sourcing platform. In fact, that's just one element of it. What it actually is it is an investment opportunity enabler. And so this platform is going to use artificial intelligence to scale the market. And we're not just talking about Rightmove or land registry or spare rooms. We're talking about much more in-depth direction of where information is coming from. We're talking about in-depth research here, which is done at the touch of a button. Research that would take me days to do, I can get almost instantly, and at the same level of detail as if I was going through it myself as a professional that's been in the industry for 18 years. And those of you that know me know I love area research, so I have ripped this platform to pieces, and I can hand on heart say that it can deliver the same results that I can. So I'm not sure how good I feel about a robot being able to do the job that I could do, but the whole reason we look at things like this, guys, is to make your life easier, and to give you something to save time, because all of this is about time or money or both. And we're all looking to create that, freedom of time, and we need money to be able to do that. Many of the people that come through our training are still working, looking to replace their income or looking for a second income. So we wanted a way to be able to give people good sound information, not fluff and buff from statistics here, internet there, which is what I've trying to show you over the last few weeks of how distorted information can actually appear, and actually how the bells and whistles actually don't do the job. So what we wanted to do was create something that would enable you to be able to scale the whole of the market, and that's on market or off market, and present opportunities to you as investors or sourcing agents to produce and source to your own database. And the reason that we have made the sourcing element of this platform free for sourcing agents and investors is because that's not the core element of the that's just one part of it. So you will have we're trying to connect good people with good people. So you will have sourcing agents that are tried, tested, sourcing agents like Rob, and we had Rico on the other week. We've had many sourcing agents, and we work with many sourcing agents across the whole of the UK. And these people know what they are doing. They're not just about sourcing you an investment. So what we wanted to do is say, well, actually, we would rather good good sourcing agents be with us, and have access to a platform of qualified investors that have actually, not only come through training, but understand what an investment looks like, understand as a professional how to move forward. So we're creating a streamline there, but not only to be able to interact with each other for free, and to be able to see the sourcing agents deals and go use the sourcing agents power team. What the site will actually do is present opportunity to you. As a sourcing agent or an investor, you can actually then pick up that deal, have a look at it in depth, with a lot of information, so not just basic research here, your phase 2 research, so your part 1, part 2 research. For those of you that have done mentorship with me will understand that. So real in-depth research on the whole of that, including, finance options, depending on where you're coming from, how you're looking to buy, and you will be able to then say, well, I want to use that sourcing agent on the ground to implement this deal for me. They will associate a fee to that. Of course, it's not a sourcing fee because the site has sourced the deal as such, but they are the people on the ground that will actually implement that strategy. So you will still be able to, use their area of expertise, run the deal past them, use their power teams, and work with tried and tested people. So guys, this is going to be unbelievable, and I want to get it out now, but I don't want to get it out until it's perfect. I'm a perfectionist, so keep your right ear to the ground. I'm sure you will be more than happy with what we present to the market, and I think it's just going to explode. Personally, I'm excited about it, as you can tell. And so guys, I'll get more information to you on that, and we'll let you guys obviously test and trial it as well, and give us your feedback, because we're always improving everything, and that's what YFE are all about. We're here for you, and we're here to deliver the best with the best power team, the best peoples, and the best tools for you to be able to invest safely and minimize your risk as much as possible. And we genuinely care. So guys, our website's going really well. We've had loads and loads of inquiries, and lots of people that are coming through prior to that have worked with me many years ago, and brand new people that are coming to through referrals through you guys as well, which I just want to say thank you to you guys that are actually putting your links out there from your affiliate program, recommending us as a training organization, because word of mouth is the best form of advertising, and it's what we've always gone off. And so guys, we are privileged to work with you. We love what we do, and we're grateful for you to actually recommend us, so thank you. So guys, we have our website. We do lots and lots of different training. We have mentorship programs live and in class. You can do your online mentorships now. There is no compromise, no group sessions. It is no compromise at all. So in terms of the time you spend with your chosen mentor, you still get that. The only difference is you're not sat here with us, but you're more than welcome to come and visit us at any time. So guys, just because of the travel restrictions, this has all been put into place so that it doesn't stop you from moving forward, because now really is the time to get in a position, educated, to move forward safely, because in the next coming months there's going to be buying opportunity, and you don't want to miss out on it, because that window is short. So make sure you're in a position there to move forward. If you do have any questions, email us, admin@yourfreedomempire. We're more than happy to have a quick chat with you and help you understand your situation and how to move forward. But guys, we don't only do property investment. We don't only do mentorships. We have lots of online training courses across various different strategies. We do lots of different types of mentorships with business, communication, health and wellness, because we look at the overall business structure there, not just the property side, which is obviously what we specialize in and what we've been doing for many years, and delivering mentorships to internationals globally and UK, and in-class training for many years now. So guys, that's just growing and growing. Keep up the great work with your affiliate program. We absolutely appreciate every single one that comes to us, and we're just grateful to be part of your journey. So keep up the good work. Of course, we have Glenn and Craig. So Glenn's actually been taking the mick out of me this week because on our YouTube channel, he has the most views. So there's always a bit of a competition on there. But Glenn and Craig have their Property Renovation 101 course that's coming soon. They are looking to get that live ASAP. The live training courses in class actually won't be starting until at least October. But the online courses are available for you as well. So if you didn't want to wait for the online and the travel restrictions and things like that, and large groups gathering together to lapse because of, you know, COVID and the current situation and restrictions around that, you can hop on and do an online training course or mentorship. Entirely up to you. So guys, that virtual property wealth mentorship, I've had loads of calls this week with people inquiring about this. You know, we're very competitive in terms of price, and there is no compromise at all in terms of delivery. You still get your chosen mentor, you still get access to a state-of-the-art sourcing platform, you get access to your power team, you meet all of your power team, you get access to all of the sourcing agents across the whole of the UK, their deals, their power team on the ground to actually implement the strategy and realize the profit that you're looking to achieve. You get access to your brokers, your solicitors, your surveyors, your architects, your planning consultants, building control. Everything is provided for you. There is no stone unturned, and we are proud to deliver that mentorship program live or in class. Of course, the only difference there, if there is a discrepancy in the price difference, is because obviously with your property wealth mentorship, that is live. So if you travel to our training facility, you're actually staying in our accommodation. So the accommodation for 5 nights is in there as well, and travel. So that's why the price is different. Okay, guys. So moving on to the next slide. These consultation calls, you know, I did say that I was only going to do them for a few weeks, but actually they've gone so well, and we've had some excellent questions and some really, really good feedback. And thank you to those of you that have gone on to our YouTube channel and our Instagram and Facebook pages, etc., and commented about the calls that you have had. You know, it has been a genuine pleasure, and we're going to continue doing this. Majority of the time it will be me or one of my mentors. You can request who you want to speak to as well. But if you want a free consultation call, guys, with one of the YFE team, then just pop an email across to admin@yourfreedomempire.co.uk and pop in the subject box there, free call. And then we will get a diary sent out to you and arrange that call. And then again, guys, for those of you that you know, don't or can't make every single week, don't feel that your questions can't be answered, pop your emails through to admin again at yourfreedomempire.co.uk. Webinar questions. We are here to help and guide you guys. We're taking your feedback in terms of what topics you want to cover, and we will be implementing those over the next few weeks as well. So I am going to say it is that time of the week again. It's been an awesome morning. Thank you to Robert and his beautiful daughter Sophia as well, who has made my day. And all these babies are making me broody. I'd love a little girl. Maybe I might start working on that one. New project. But guys, I've had an awesome day. I've had an excellent week as well. I hope you guys have as well. I am going to love you and leave you. For those of you that struggle to get on this week, the link was the same from last week, but we have had to start a new series because the series was only supposed to be 12 weeks long. But we're going to continue this week in, week out. This is going to be a regular thing now. So you will be able to use that link that was emailed to you yesterday to continue to get on each call each week. But I'm going to love you and leave you. Have an awesome Friday, an excellent weekend, and I will see you again next week. Goodbye for now. Take care.